Hello, beautiful air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. My name is Ivona Rose. Welcome to my channel, Rose Healing Light. This will be a reading with and general messages for the whole year 2023. So it's a little bit like, let's say, with message like a year ahead reading for 2023, and with messages and some themes and guidance for the whole year. And just the way, just to kind of let you know briefly how I've set it up, and I've also done it for other signs the same way. That the first portion of the video is going to be or will contain basically general messages for all three air signs here. So for all of you guys, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I've done it this way because I've been guided first of all by the angels this way, and also because we do have very often we share certain, let's say, trajectory, or we have sometimes similar trajectory between, let's say, the air signs. It would be similar to water signs. And the guidance from the angels was also that if you guys, that you listen also to the general portion, if you are, for example, a Gemini, because it will definitely contain, or it will contain relevant messages for you. And then after this, the first portion will be slightly longer perhaps, and then there'll be also 3 shorter and specific videos within the whole video, right, for each sign, for each air sign in this case. Yeah, and again, as I said, like the angels have guided me also and have asked me to tell you that the first portion, the general reading, is also, it's kind of like part of the whole reading, right? And it will be very kind of useful and beneficial for you to read, to listen or watch the first portion, and then to watch your specific, let's say, portion if you are again a Gemini or a Libra, and then you go ahead and listen to Libra. It will, I would say it will just make more sense, and perhaps it will just give you deeper or like more broader even messages. Yeah, so just perhaps trust it, right? Also, what I wanted to say, that this reading may apply to you at let's say, at different intervals of time, let's say, or so at different times throughout the year. So it may have messages which may be relevant, for example, in 6 months time from now, or in 8 months time from now. And the angels again have given me the clear guidance to tell you and to ask you perhaps to, if you wish, of course, to come back to this video at some stage throughout the year, right? So you may have situations and you may be even asking for guidance, and they've said so. Just so you know in advance that you can always come back at any point in time to this video, and you will probably find something very relevant to you, or the message, or perhaps the message would have changed since, for example, like January, right? So also just a brief explanation that your energy, why I'm telling you this, that also sometimes you listen to these messages in January, but then let's say by the end of, let's say by June, or by the end of June, this is how it comes, your energy would have changed, and you would have changed, and even your perspective or your perception would have changed. And it's possible that, for example, I don't know, in June, it doesn't have to be June, but June or July, something happens that is perhaps quite difficult, and you will need guidance. And if you come back to that video, you may see, let's say, the messages from a totally new perspective, or you may even feel like, wow, I don't even remember that I've ever listened to that, right? So just so you know, I can also tell you that I've actually done it myself. And yeah, and it can surprise you, seriously. And also I would say, remember that many readings, so like my readings, but also the readings, let's say, of other readers, or let's say angel messengers, most of them are timeless, which also means that you can always, whenever you're drawn to it, you can always go back and re-listen, right? Even if you were, let's say, even now you felt drawn to go back and to listen to, for example, I don't know, December 2021 messages from, not on my channel, because I wasn't doing it, from someone else's, then I would suggest go ahead and listen, because there is an important message there, right? And this also brings me to the fact that you listen to your intuition. Simply, many of you have very strong intuition. Many of you probably are still learning about your intuition, but my guidance also for the other signs was also to listen to your intuition and where it is guiding you, or like, let's say, or some messages also from spirits, or something that is popping up on your screen, let's say, a few times at least. This means that you are guided to listen to a specific video, regardless, let's say, of the time that it was created, right? So that you can perhaps get a better, get the guidance and message just that you need in the moment. All right, and I think just one last thing is that, of course, it will apply if if the air signs are, for example, your sun sign, your moon sign, or your ascendant sign. And also if you have, if you know, if you have obviously your air signs in any let's say placement in your birth, in your astrological birth chart, uh, or again, for those who know the birth chart, or if you don't know it very well, then again just listen to your intuition and what kind of, what draws you into, for example, a specific reading. All right, I think yeah, and just so you know, I think I usually, I don't know if I forgot, I usually say also that I always ask before the video, I meditate a little bit and I ask, sorry guys, Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron. Archangel Michael is saying that this is just the sign that he is here already, and I have a dry throat already. Apologies. Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron to also stay with us to bring us protection and blessings, so that we have, let's say, all like you guys and I, and kind of the best experience on the video, right? And you get the messages as you need them. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got kind of like a three position. First, I'm starting with the three angel tarot cards, and I've got, let's say, I've got three clarifier cards from an energy oracle deck as well. So okay, so let me start. I think you actually do have two nines in the spread, and there is 9 of earth and 9 of water. And you also have the 8 at the beginning, 8 of earth. I wanted to say that the 9 is probably important for you guys for this year. You may either be, let's say, nearing completion, so you may be close to completing a cycle in your life. It could be a smaller cycle. It could be a bigger. It actually does feel like it may be a smaller cycle, but the smaller cycle, what I mean by it, it could be even up to, let's say, 3 years. This is how I feel, right? So yeah, so there are obviously bigger cycles in life. Maybe this is also what the message is here. So it's perhaps a smaller cycle. It could be, yeah, up to a year or up to 3 years. It depends. Obviously it varies, right, for different people. Also, number 9 is perhaps a lot about letting go as well. And I would say letting go as a practice is important for you guys. And it's, yeah, and it's definitely, I feel like the angel's saying that it's definitely recommended for you. So just perhaps like a heads up kind of message that, as I said, letting go is a bit of a practice, because it's kind of like knowing what, like, it's kind of knowing how you can let go of something. And there are different practices, because sometimes it's easier to say, oh, I'm just done with this. And sometimes you need to, let's say, do some inner meditation, deeper or even healing work in order to release something, right? To let go of, I don't know, a bigger situation in life. But I think the message is that the letting go is also important and will be important throughout the year. And maybe you will need to learn perhaps a new practice in order to help you let go of something, and also let go also perhaps of your own negative emotions, right? And I'll show you, because you've got the attachment card as well, which I will show you in a minute. All right, and I think, yeah, and let me start. This is also, so perhaps why I've said that, let me start. So this is, this card came up actually as a separate message, but kind of I feel it's a fairly important, let's say, like an umbrella message. It's it's number 13. Let me just stop. Sorry guys, because you see, when I do the readings, I usually say I said already to other signs, sometimes I also feel different things in my body, and I know that I'm healing and I need to be cautious. And I just felt a little bit of like a block in my chest, basically. So I guess, okay, the angels always tell me to remind you that if you feel like this, if you feel somehow some blockages in your body, then they recommend that, obviously, okay, they say that you always need to make sure that either you check it up with the doctor to make sure that it's nothing serious. But for those who are perhaps more, okay, they say more advanced in your healing processes and you trust perhaps your body more, then they're also suggesting that perhaps listen to why the blockage is inside of you. Yeah, just listen to it. They say just listen to it and continue, and just apply it with your healing as well. It will perhaps maybe help you become aware of something. All right. Okay, the release card. Let me just yeah. So we've got the main message. The first message was the release card, which is the death card in the traditional tarot. Okay, Archangel Azrael is here, is depicted with this message. And I feel, let me just stop for a moment, because I don't know, because there's a bit of a heavy energy and I don't know if I need to tell you something. Okay. I just needed to see if I needed to give you some message, or is it just, you see, I had a heavy messages, a heavy energy that is with me. Okay, so maybe some of you have already experienced that in the past, okay, now it's coming, that you felt heavy in your body, but it may also be like the heaviness that isn't always defined, which may have been, for example, heavy because someone, this comes as heavy emotions, but not necessarily yours. It may have been heavy emotions, for example, from your parents or some of your ancestors, or some other people, right? I believe that many people, I mean, I know I've heard it also from others and some of my friends, that when you become more aware and do healing work, then you actually do become aware of actually like a heaviness that is on you, but you don't even know why, right? Okay, so now they say the message does relate to this also, that whatever had been, let's say, happening or has been happening, and any heaviness that you have felt in your body, and also emotional heaviness, okay, they're saying that it's going to clear away during the year of 2023, and perhaps a little bit forward into 2024. But they say that this message, so I'm just this message is important for you guys, just kind of not to just to be aware of it and pay attention. Okay, also pay attention to your signs and symbols that are being given to you, because you will also need to, let's say, you will need to be aware of that, but you will also need to, you will need to take some practice. You will need to simply work with this, right? So you'll need to kind of, it's kind of, or they say it will not go away by itself. So you'll need to work with it by doing, okay, they're saying by doing various practices. So like depending on who you are and what you've done in the past, right? So okay, they tell me at the moment not to explain, I mean, what kind of practices, but you'll find like healing methods and things like that. Okay. And so the release card and the release, so perhaps in this way, the release card talks about some changes. So the death card is about perhaps going through some bigger changes in life. In this case, it feels, okay, they're just showing me, it feels like that there is a further release coming to you and to your life, perhaps the release of your blockages and of this inner heaviness. And it will be a process throughout the year. They're also reminding me that you do have 2 9s on the table as cards, and the 9s do represent, but they say they represent but they represent a lot of, let's say, surrender and letting go as well, right? So this will be very important for you, and this will then allow you to move forward as well. Okay, so I think this is the main message from this card. And let's just start. So perhaps it makes actually more sense now, because I've looked at the cards obviously before I opened the video. Okay, you start with 8 of Earth. Gosh, sorry guys, let me just drink a bit of water. Apologies, because like I just don't, apologies for this, but as I said, like I also have my own blockages and I sometimes don't know what to do just to kind of balance the energy, right? Maybe some messages for you to drink more water as well. So I do need to pass it. I know that Archangel Michael says that remember that anything that happens during the reading may be a message for, let's say, for your audience. That's what they tell me. And perhaps I can just tell you to remind you to make sure that you drink more water. Or perhaps you drink water also when you need to pause in any situation, right? 8 of Earth. Okay, let's start again. In the past position, you have 8 of Earth card. And this is 8 of Pentacles, like in a traditional tarot. And I feel this comes with 2 cards. One is called Caring Connection, and the other one is called Attachment. And that's definitely this card. This Caring Connection card is about relationships and intimate relationships as well. But what I wanted to say first with this card, that you have already been perhaps working on something over the past few months, maybe even few years for some of you. But again, as I said, perhaps the cycle would have been not more than 3 years. That's how I feel about it. And so it's kind of like working on something, working on a project, but the project related perhaps to, I don't know, changing, for example, your relationships, and also, yes, and how you are in the relationships, and also the attachment card, right? And not this way, sorry, and releasing attachments, your own attachments in those relationships. And this card to me does represent, because it's actually called Caring Connections, and it represents intimate relationships, but this does mean that it's, for example, with a romantic partner, right, love partner, but it may also be with your parents, for example, or some people from your family, but it can also be with some close friendships, right, and things like that. So I would say in this case it's more intimate rather than, let's say, more distant relationships. Okay. And yeah, and as I said, so many of you or most of you have already been working on trying to change something, right? So it's the same like we have the death card, which usually represent bigger changes and also transformation in life. And you were working obviously on kind of on releasing the deeper attachments, right? Yeah, I feel like just to remind you that the attachment card is a little bit like the devil card in the tarot, and it may also represent an aspect like when I see that, like for example, of bondage from the past, and it could be of bondage with some family patterns, and that's why obviously it's taking always some time to be able to, let's say, in order to release or to be able to release yourself from this, right? And then attract perhaps healthier people and healthier relationships to your lives. All right. Then the second, so now we've got the second card, which is a little bit like a central position. It's Nine of Earth, as I mentioned, and this comes with the third chakra. It's Archangel Chamuel, but I think it's more important that this is the solar plexus chakra that we have in here in the in your kind of center of your belly, your body. So this tells me, so this the message I felt like this will be important for you to perhaps understand and maybe accept that it is that you are, let's say, you are a standalone person, right? So you are independent, yes. You are also self-sufficient, but in a way so that you understand that you are standalone and you don't have to. So that obviously relates to attachments in relationships, right? And you don't need to perhaps rely on all these people, let's say, in various matters, even health matters. You don't need to rely on them so heavily in order, let's say, to be healthy and happy and actually let's say, like self-dependent it comes, right? So you can depend on self. So there is some growth aspects coming to you to do with, yeah, like self-dependency and self-sufficiency, right? And perhaps to release it. So now it tells me that you may be releasing a lot of codependency and codependent patterns from relationships and from your past. I think the whole aspect is definitely becoming more aware of where the, let's say, where the codependency was, right? And then obviously finding ways kind of how to release the pattern, right? But sometimes it's not as simple, I wanted to say, right? So finding ways how to heal yourself and how to release even the deeper aspects of the codependency. So it's also, for example, working with your emotions, understanding your thought patterns, and perhaps even the deeper the belief patterns or beliefs in your family, to know what created perhaps the codependency, and how to release it. Yeah, right, how to release it. But I just wanted to say that remember that that's a process as well, right? So that's why you've got this Eight of Earth card to show you that you've already perhaps started this work in the past, and you are going, or you will need to, and you will continue during I feel like during most or the whole of the 2023. It may even take you to 2024 as well. So you probably will not end everything, right? you will not end the whole process, but it's a process, right? So yeah. And I think the importance of this card is for you to remember and accept it, that you can be more self-reliant, I would say, and kind of self-dependent, meaning that even if you are sick, for example, especially at the moment, there are ways always, for example, to buy groceries, right? You can order online now. I mean, first of all, this is very convenient, but also it depends on the sickness, because I'm talking about like sickness like a flu or other like stomach sickness, right? Sometimes you may need to find your own strength to pick up and even go to the shop if you needed to. And I would suggest that the energy, just trust that the energy is always protecting you, right? Like the higher divine energy, but also the energy is somehow protecting you. So even if you needed to, like for example, when you're catching the flu, right? Or you already, like you kind of feel it the second day you feel it, and you know that it's going to happen, right? So this is when you can perhaps just go to the shop and say, okay, I think once you know that the flu is not going to go away, you need to take a rest and take some healing, right, for the next 2-3 days. Then you can say, okay, now I'm just gonna at least go to the shop, grab my groceries, whatever I need, or grab my vitamins or paracetamol, anything you need, or other supplements. Yeah, and then you can simply come back home and then, let's say, allow yourself to rest for the next 3 days, right? And of course the food. Anyway, I just wanted to say that this is just an example, right? I don't want to talk too much, but just that you can be more self-dependent and self-sufficient and self-reliant, and maybe this was the problem in your codependencies, and that's why this comes with the third chakra, which is the solar plexus chakra, which is a lot about how you, so this is how you give also and receive power in relationship, right? But the power is, I feel like it's a little bit of a more subtle thing, and it's more for you to recognize, again, what I said, that you are but you are kind of you are a self-sufficient, you are a self-sufficient person as you are, and you really don't need certain things maybe that were kind of done, not that like for you, let's say by your parents in the past, right? It's just kind of it's a bad, let's say it's a habit that you are definitely, you probably are wanting to change it, and you will be perhaps I feel like it says like you are required to change, but required by, let's say, by your soul's growth, right? Not by someone else. All right. um yeah, and the third card here is your Nine of Water. Is actually, that's actually very positive, and this comes actually with a woman holding a coin, but this card came up in reverse. So let me just start. So Nine of Water is actually, so first of all, it's a very positive card, and it says it's a wish fulfillment card. So your wishes or your dreams, I think it's all about your wishes will come true, or you'll be able to manifest what you desire. And I think it's also about relationships, so you should be able to. Yeah, I think for many of you, I feel like whatever that means, I think the main message is that you are able and you can manifest whatever you wish or whatever you desire, especially in your relationship. So it may not be necessary, it doesn't feel like new relationships right away, but you can, let's say, manifest a change in a relationship, right? Because sometimes the partner, maybe you don't want to, I don't know, separate from the partner that, let's say, you've been with for a while, or the relationship is still fairly good, but maybe there needs to be more work to be done between the two of you, right? And I think that this relates also to the fact that you can manifest more of your desires and the wishes that you want to see, for example, as changes in your relationship or relationships, right? But I feel like that there is also, because in this, let's say, deck, in this representation, there's obviously lots of water, and she's like submerged, let's say, in water. There's also there's perhaps some healing that will be involved for you guys, or for at least some of you, during the year. And this healing work is going to help you with your manifestation. So it will help you, again, it will help you to change these patterns in relationships. It will help you to understand and release the codependency, perhaps, or the codependency, habits, right? And things like that. So yeah, so remember that we are also habitual in nature as humans, right? And everything, I would say everything can be changed. That's why the message. Yeah, and once you are healing and looking at your emotions and releasing them, you'll be able to kind of step forward and, let's say, get of more what you want or what you need as well, right? And I think with this woman holding a coin but in reversal, I think the first message that comes up here is that this may be someone also in your environment, and someone that perhaps isn't also very healthy for you, and you may have had a codependent relationship with her. I would I would read it as this is probably a woman, regardless of who, like if you are a man or a woman watching, right? So you may have had, anyway, a codependent relationship in the past with her. So I'm just trying to think, because I'm just trying to think, because some readers, I just wanted to tell you, perhaps, because some readers sometimes read, let's say, a female card as both male or a female as a representation, but I don't always see that like that. It depends how I feel guided, and sometimes I feel guided directly that this would be a woman in your life, right? And again, bearing in mind that there may be even thousands of people who watch it, but I guess the message is that there's probably a woman in your life as well, who, again, and I think and I think the message is important, right, as well, who you have had perhaps a codependent relationships in the now, or even in the recent past, or in the distant past. So it could have been even your mother, and perhaps there'll be some illumination also of how because these cards came together. So perhaps either you need to distance yourself from her in order to manifest, let's say, your dreams even, or manifest better things for you in life. Yeah, I feel like you will need to distance yourself from perhaps even your mother, and maybe this woman who you were also codependent with, and perhaps it will also, once you've done this, or once you've taken steps to a little bit withdraw from her, it will also show you how much perhaps someone else could be blocking you from achieving what you want. All right, I think this is probably the main message here. All right, guys, and this is the tarot portion, and I'm going to take two different oracle decks to also give you just a few, perhaps a little bit maybe more random messages. We'll see what comes for you guys. Okay, so let me take tarot cards. Okay, just checking. So the first deck is called Angel Guide Oracle by Kyle Gray. So let me take a couple of cards for my air signs. Yes, so let me just take more. All right, so yeah, it's interesting. I think they're all related. Let me start with this. The first card is a no, and no is very often about boundaries in life, right? And we've spoken about releasing and understanding codependency in life, especially with close relationships. So a no says that you are probably so boundaries first of all, right? And perhaps re-establishing new stronger boundaries, or strengthening or working with the healing to strengthen your boundaries, and perhaps you're learning when you need to say no, um, in your life to other people, for example, right? So the changes like from the past to what you are experiencing now, and noticing that you can say no, for example, right? But then this also comes with the card, so they all came together with a card called composure. And I feel like, let me just see, and then the last card was actually about manifestation. But let me just, and I'll tell you like how I also feel it. But I think this card, when I felt, it's like someone, the composure, it feels to me like someone is, let's say, correcting you, that you have to just compose yourself and just keep going like this because you have to be strong. So very often we get it from our parents, that they didn't understand us or our emotions at all, right? And very often they would have been, let's say, very harsh and say, yeah, you just need to somehow just go, I don't know, maybe put your makeup on, or just go for a moment and just, you know, say, okay, it doesn't matter. And that kind of being, anyway, someone just telling you that to compose yourself because you kind of have no right to have emotions, and just to keep going because you have the strength, right? So as I said, it like, I don't know why it comes like this. Just put your makeup on, put your lipsticks, just tie up your jacket, and then you can just go out and be happy again. So I think it just comes as an example of, like, let's say, I've got deeper, like, yeah, a toxic mother, I would say, right? But that's just an example, and I feel like there's a bit of a shadow work required with this. So the composure perhaps is understanding that you don't have to, that this is not the right way how to compose yourself straight away. You don't have to be, let's say, pushed or feel like punished for let's say, being emotional, I would say, because yeah, well, there's a blue color, but the emotions are coming with the blue as well, right? So there's no need for this coldness perhaps, and you can definitely take, so you can say no now, right? You can say no to this person and say, no, I want to do it my own way. And I feel like that many of you already understand of a process, understand the process of healing and the process of perhaps detaching as well. So obviously, yes, many of you have been working on it. So I would just say, yeah, so you will be able perhaps, or you'll be learning how to say no in these kinds of situations, and say that I actually want to do it my own way now, for example, to your mom, or to a sister, or to someone else. All right. And then interestingly, let me just say, and while you are learning how to say no, you'll be able actually to protect yourself and your manifestations in life, right? And what I mean by this, it's actually beautiful because I see the stars here, and I feel like it is a lot about your dreams, right? And like your wishes coming true. But as again, like, once you understand how to change your boundaries and how to say more perhaps in certain situations, you'll be able to protect yourself, right? And again, protect your manifestations, so protect whatever you're trying to manifest in life. And just to give you an example, for example, that sometimes you don't need to, and you would be advised even not to speak, for example, to certain people about what you want until they perhaps have fully manifested, right? Because when you speak with people, this is when you open up, let's say, your energetic space, and this is when they can block you, especially people like your mothers, let's say your mother, your father, or your aunts, like people who, it comes as definitely like a family line, because they can go deeper even with their own negativity, if that makes sense, right? So they can block you simply if you speak too much to them. But I feel like for some of you, you may have had perhaps like really good friendships, or maybe even your partner, and then you are learning how negative perhaps they are, or how toxic they can be now, because you have changed, perhaps because you have changed a lot, and you have changed much more than them, and you are probably on the path of positivity, or becoming more positive, maybe having more faith in the light, in the divine as well, right? So I would say that by saying no, also understanding how you compose yourself, but not necessarily just like, not the way I said, but just to withdraw a little bit and perhaps go into meditation, right? Like this man is in meditation practice. You'll be able to protect yourself, and I would say protect your manifestations in life, right? Or protect your whatever you want to manifest until, let's say, they have manifested already, right? And then and then you can shine with them. And let me just take Okay, they said that there's actually one more card for you. Okay, let me just, yeah, they say, okay, they say, let me just finish with this card. This is from a Spirit Animal Cards Oracle deck, and this is actually the Crow Spirit, and this says, sorry, co-create with Spirit. And I think it's perhaps a reminder for you guys that you co-create with Spirit in any aspect of your life, and also perhaps a reminder that even if you are working with your shadows or there are difficulties, this is exactly when you can come closer, perhaps with God, Spirit, universe, or the higher source energy, the way you see it, right? So remember that you co-create, and you also co-create, let's say, these, you co-create even, let's say, your justice. So you co-create the coming out of the difficulties as well, right? And just involve, perhaps remember to always connect with Spirit in the form that you see it or you connect normally. Yeah, and I wanted to say that the Crow Spirit, Crow Spirit to me represents transformation and also bigger changes in life very often, and also release and letting go. So it's a bit of a confirmation. We've had that card release, right? So it's just a confirmation that there are, okay, so now I'm feeling clearer that there are some endings coming to your life. So with the nines, right, you have two nines, and you've got also the death card. So there will be some endings coming into your life. And now, okay, so now I feel the clarity that throughout this year as well. Or you'll be leading something, some changes and some endings perhaps throughout this year and also to the next year. This is how it came for you, right? But remember that this is all for the best and for the highest good as well, right? And it will become positive. So it will help you come out of, let's say, these toxicities, or toxic negativities in your life. All right, guys. So okay, so this is, I think, because I don't want to stop here, and I'm now actually inviting you to continue to watch it, because now I'm going to post, so there'll be like 3 messages now, 3 separate videos, like within the whole video for the separate for each air sign. Yeah, so thank you for watching, first of all, this part of the video. I hope it was helpful, and I'm hoping to see you in a second for in one of the, or more than one of the specific videos for you guys, air signs. Hello, beautiful Gemini. This will be your portion of the whole general reading for air signs for the year 2023. So yeah, so this will be for the Gemini people, and it will apply to you if Gemini is your sun sign, your moon sign, or your ascendant sign. Also, wherever you have Gemini in your chart as a placement, or also it will apply to you if you if you feel intuitively drawn to this video and to these messages, then please do listen and watch the video. I've explained a little bit more in the first portion of this whole big video. Please also do the guidance from the angels please do go ahead and watch the first main portion, which was for all air signs, and you obviously are also included there, and this is just going to be messages specific for Gemini people. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I've got I've got 3, so I just say I've got 3 positions, like three angel tarot cards. I've got actually a few more, but like as a positions, I've got 3 positions, and I've got 3 clarifiers from energy oracle guide. Yeah, sorry, energy, anyway, just energy oracle guide cards. I just don't remember the name. I can check it for you guys. Yeah, it's energy. It's called just Energy Oracle Cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. And so just to start with, like the main, with let's say the first message, like a general message, because I think I've spoken about perhaps an aspect of endings and letting go that is coming to your life this year. And you do have a central position. You have an 8 of water, which actually suggests that you perhaps will be moving away from something that no longer serves you. So perhaps there is an aspect of endings for you, but it feels to me like that you'll be the one who is moving away, right? So you will be kind of bringing this ending to your life. Perhaps it may be triggered by something or someone, and let's say in some unpleasant situation. But you will be, and also with that you have a justice card. So so there is a part of the fact that yeah, I feel like the answer to, I feel like the justice is going to come about to your life, let's say in this situation, this inconvenient situation, but you are also, let's say, part of the justice and part of bringing the justice to your own life and to this situation, and perhaps even part of you seeking justice will be your decision to move away from someone, or maybe even separate from certain people, yeah, in relationships, or from certain relationships, right? All right, let's just start with so with the first two cards, which represent a little bit, it's a little bit like a past position as well, but something that you are bringing perhaps from the past to the current moment, which is at least the beginning of the year. And this energy can somehow perhaps come back, or arise, or be present during the year. So you've got the Queen of Air with actually the Seven of Water, and this is with the Sun card. Here, so you are, I feel like you are the Queen of Air. This is your quality. It's, I think, yeah, it's like you are using, obviously you are Gemini, guys, so most Geminis use a lot, like, they use, let's say, more their mind rather than emotions when they, for example, make decisions or their lives. And I feel like this is, okay, this is your quality, and I feel like there's some strength inside of you, so continue to use your logic as well, and continue, let's say, to use your mind, but in the most positive way, as much as you can, right? But I feel like there is some strength inside of you, to be this Queen of Air, Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is the queen that, let's say, cuts through illusions very often, or she's the queen who sees clearly, for example, or some things can be, let's say, very clear for you, while for other people they may not be. But it's your life is all about you, right? And this quality of the Queen of Air, so being kind of logical, and maybe cutting through the illusions, or cutting through some BS, let's say, this is how it comes to you. It will also help you to differentiate what is, for example, right and what is wrong, or differentiate, let's say, an aspect. This is an aspect from a confusion that you may be also feeling at the moment. So I feel like by using this, and also, okay, the other message was also that this may be someone external in your life. Perhaps, most likely, she's a woman, but she may be either a teacher or a mentor or a coach, and you are being advised perhaps to either listen to her. It could be perhaps listening to her videos, right? Or maybe following her on Instagram, for example. So either you already know her, and so and by listening perhaps to her, or watching her videos or following her guidance, you'll be able also to get the clarity, kind of, and get the kind of this, and also get the discernment, and and I would say the differentiation between, for example, is like from the right and wrong, but also differentiation, like you need to differentiate something from something, right? Which means that something was not clear at all to you. And this is the Seven of Water. The Seven of Water talks about actually a confusion in your mind. It could be confusing emotions as well, some confusing energies inside of you. Yeah, so the more you, first of all, follow, the more, yeah, you follow, let's say, this teacher, or perhaps seek the teacher who has this kind of, I don't know, some really wonderful, let's say, advice for you, or you find her very insightful, perhaps, and by listening to it, by perhaps seeking this kind of a teacher, and this may apply throughout the year actually as well, will help you a lot with finding your own discernment, right? And again, differentiating perhaps the right, like what is right and what is wrong for you, perhaps, right? And to clear this kind of aspect of confusion and some aspect of negativity as well. And this this comes actually with the Sun card. And I would suggest, so the first message, let me just bring, the first message with the Sun card was that many of you guys, or some of you, need to be more in the sun this year. So yeah, and just take it as it as it comes directly. Perhaps some of you may need more vitamin D as well. So perhaps if you live in a country, I don't know, where there's a longer period, like when there's longer winter perhaps, or maybe there is not so much sun, I would say it applies for many of us perhaps, then take perhaps some vitamin D, will be very beneficial for you. But also be, let's say, when you are out there, be as much as you can in the sun. And I would say it's probably also in the open sun, even though sometimes when it's cloudy, right, and you go out for a walk, you also get a bit of the sun. But I feel like the most benefit you get from the sun when the sun is in the clear sky, right? Or at least when the sun is, let's say, visible, right? And you are being kind of advised to make the best of it, right? And be in the sun. And coming back to to this message from the Queen of Air, I think this is also the card of some aspect of also positivity. So I think this is what I mentioned. you being positive and appreciating your own quality of perhaps being like, I don't know, seeing clearly and having an aspect of logical mind that perhaps have always been helping you, or also seeking the knowledge that helps you differentiate, is definitely is very good for you. And I think the Sun card does confirm that you have this positive aspect inside of you, that there is also, just look out for aspects of positivity, I would say. It comes to you like, yeah, anything. So for example, if you connect with someone like a teacher, mentor, look at her positive side of things. And the more positive you feel, for example, after listening to her, then this is a very good sign, right? So I would say, yeah, look out for positivity in your life. Look out for positivity inside of you, or try to find that, and perhaps let the positivity also be your guide, I would say. All right. Then the second position, or the second, which is the center of your reading, I've already mentioned. You've got the Eight of Water, and this is about leaving something behind, something that no longer serves you, with the Justice card. So as I said, like I felt, and it feels the same, that you are actually bringing justice, and you are responsible for bringing justice into your life, I would say. It doesn't mean that other people are not responsible, right? It's just, I think that the message for you guys is that you are responsible, and you have the power also to bring it on, or to bring it to your life, basically. And this, maybe that's why I mentioned that you have the power, because you have also third chakra, which is the solar plexus chakra here. So I would say that, so there was an issue perhaps that you've experienced in the past, or whatever you need more clarity on. It also relates to perhaps power or abuse of power in relationships. It could be also abuse of power in a position like, I don't know, for example, a boss, a manager, and a worker, and an employee, right? So in various different positions, there may have been some abuse of power in the past, but now by discerning perhaps by discerning better, right? And having more knowledge, and maybe learning more and more, because I feel like this card is also important throughout the year for you. And she's also the queen who also listens, but she also seeks knowledge, right? So just to have just so your logical mind can help you answer the questions as well, right? Not only, I mean, intuition is also important, and I would say just mix always intuition with the logical mind. But it will also help you to understand and discern, like what happens with the power, where a certain person may have overpowered you, or where they actually don't even have the right to, let's say, overpower you, right? Or they don't have the right to ask for too much that they asked in the past. They asked for in the past. Yeah, so it's just differentiation, and I feel like there's different aspects of a power and a power struggle that is coming as well here. But you will be leaving, so you'll be leaving maybe more than one situation. You'll be moving away from that. You'll be leaving, but you will be leaving it in the past. You'll be leaving it behind, and with your discernment and your action, you'll be able also to bring the justice into your life, right? And the kind of, let's say, the karmic balance, sorry, or something, sorry guys, or something that perhaps that didn't work in the past, you will be able to find again your clarity and discernment, and you'll be able to correct it, right? And you'll be able to correct it, and in this way you will be satisfied, and you'll feel like, okay, finally I feel, let's say, just and right and fair, right, in this situation. Okay, and it is also, okay, I feel like I'm being reminded that this also is a positive sign that more justice is coming to your life in these certain situations, right? So while you're moving away and moving on as well, by perhaps also doing some of your healing work, you are bringing more justice, and it should manifest, let's say, in a more, let's say, just and fair way in your life right now, and especially about the power struggles, right? And then this is a future position for you guys, which is the Awakening card. Archangel Gabriel is coming here, so maybe you want to communicate or or connect with Archangel Gabriel. This is I'm just thinking number 12. This is the Hanged Man card in the traditional tarot, and it comes with carrying connections. I feel the first message here is to always take time and take enough space for yourself before you make any decisions in relationships, especially in those like in the close relationships and more intimate relationships in your life. So don't rush with anything. This is also the card of perspective and gaining or regaining perspective. So as we've spoken, this Queen of Air, this Queen of Swords is the queen who can see clearly, but she's also the queen who knows when she needs to learn something. She needs to perhaps read some books, listen to some mentors, she just needs to go out there and get some knowledge as well for herself in order to know better, right? And I think with this, so this is also important for you to gain perspective on certain things. Also to gain perspective, for example, why things weren't just in your life. So there was no, let's say, justice, or justice was, let's say, lacking in the past, in situations in your life. Maybe someone had done you wrong in a way, right, in a situation. But this is a conversation, confirmation that you'll be able to bring it back, right? Or you'll be able to act in such a way, maybe to find closure and to balance things out and say, okay, now it feels actually like, it feels like it may come around back to your life with the situation, but it will come around and it will make you, you know how it is, it will make you feel justified in a way. So it will kind of like when something happened, let's say last year, and you felt like you needed to agree with that, but it wasn't just and fair, if that makes sense. The same situation will come up this year, but I feel like there'll be much more justice, and you will, I think it will feel, it feels like it will come up almost naturally as just, yeah, a kind of justice coming up. So this person perhaps will have to correct themselves and act with justice and fairness towards you. But I feel like also you'll be ready to kind of let them know that you are worth more in a way, right? So it's kind of like an interesting element of justice. You are responsible for it, please remember. And then you will perhaps need to act in a way that I know that I am worth the justice here, and it wasn't just and fair in the past, let's say. But I feel like also this kind of person, let's say, will be coming also with more fairness towards you, right? So this will be possible. The calming balance also in the situation will be possible to actually be achieved sometime during the year, right? Yeah, and maybe I think it comes to me that this may also relate to more than one situation for you guys, for some of you at least. So yeah, I think this is the message. So not only one situation, maybe there have been more than one. Yeah, but some situations may be just something that is clear from the like from last year, and some things may just be that maybe in the past you were feeling lack of kind of fairness, right? Yeah, but it's coming back around, and it's coming like better, right? And coming back around just to close it with the justice and fairness. And I think just coming back to this awakening, I feel like there is a process of awakening inside of you, perhaps, right, with this justice. But this is also, I think the main point on this is your perspective, the new perspective, reading and learning and listening to other people to gain the perspective, so that you can perhaps also discern better. And this is also discernment in relationships. And I would say, even though this usually is about close relationships, but perhaps you may have had some situation where sometimes we actually have these strange things, that we have a connection, for example, with a real estate agent, right? And then you don't know, and it's like a mixed situation that you are not maybe with them. Anyway, I just wanted to say that some situations may be mixed. There may be a professional plus intimate relationships, close, like connected together. And maybe also in these kind of situations, you needed to learn something. This also says that sometimes you may need to take a pause, or there'll be a pause, and this pause will be to help you find your discernment, right? And find your justice as well. Yeah, and again, and this justice, I think this justice also relates to the fact that in this kind of maybe strange situations, or the situations, yeah, potentially with someone who was both professional and a little bit closer in the relationship, right? So if there was something more complex in the relationship, then the justice, then the justice and fairness are going, like, it's going to also come towards it and help you resolve it as well. All right. Okay, and now, so this is the main portion, and now I'm going to take 2 different oracle cards just to give you a few more messages. I'm going to take this deck, okay. Yeah, so we'll start with the Spirit Animal Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. And we've got 2 cards for you guys, and then, okay. Let me just start with this. So this is Sandpiper Spirit. This message came up to some of the, not the air signs, I think, at least not all of you guys, but somewhere else. Maybe when you listen to this, you will notice it's so this is Sandpiper Spirit, and it says be playful. I must admit that I don't know. I don't really work. Some animals, I work with animals usually, but some of them which I really know, and then they are around me, right? This one I don't know very well, but I think, so I don't know the symbolism of this, but maybe that's, I need to tell you this perhaps because for some of you, maybe this is an important, actually, like an animal, there's an important symbol with the Sandpiper Spirit, right? I think it's a bird. So I feel like I probably need to tell you that perhaps you may want to, again, research that for yourself, right? you are the Queen of Swords, so you know how to do research, right, and how to seek knowledge. So I would suggest that Sandpiper spirit, for some of you at least, or many of you, can maybe important as a symbology, as a, let's say, as a spirit animal guide during the year. So please research that and see what this relates to. But in this card, it also says be playful. Yeah, and I feel like, so I think the bird, I just wanted to say that the bird looks like it has something around around its neck here. I would say take things lightly, or more lightly maybe than you took them in the past, I would say, right? So this is the main message that comes to me, sorry. But I think the message was also to perhaps research and understand what is the symbology of sandpiper as an animal, and how this can apply to you, and how it can help you in life. And at the same time, you actually do have also pig spirit, and pig spirit says use your mind wisely. So here actually I would say that even though you did have you have this card Queen of Air, and I said that you do have a strength in your mental realm, let's say your mental capability. But I think with the pig, because pig usually can symbolize someone like an overactive mind or overthinking. So I would suggest also that perhaps be watchful of that, right? That even when you do research or you listen to other people, perhaps make sure that if there is an information overload, that you need to perhaps seek other, you need to kind of a little bit withdraw, like you need to distance yourself, right? And withdraw yourself from that, find some space, find perspective, and then take a break as well, right? To actually calm your mind, and then allow the energy and allow the balance to come, to perhaps then come, and allow the intuition actually to come back to you and show you what the answer is, right? So just be careful a bit of that, I would say, and work with your mind. It's like if it's overactive mind, or if it's overthinking or over analyzing even, then this is the point is that you need to just stop it in a way, right? Find a practice like meditation to let go of something, to perhaps let go of these negative thoughts, right? And then give yourself some space until you know the answer, I would say. And the answer will come clearly to you, all right? Just because, you've got the Queen of Swords, and you are the Queen of Swords. So you'll be able to see the answer, definitely. And this is one more deck. This deck is called Energy and Spirit Oracle Cards, yes, by Sandra Ann Taylor. Let me just put Gemini, yes. Okay, I think we've got more than, so just probably a confirmation, because I wasn't sure what's the, I think the family tree, the first card is family tree, and it's something, it says actually expansion and legacy. So I feel that for some of you, and that's maybe more random message, that you will probably be starting, because we've also got the card called creation. I speak sometimes too fast. I need to work with myself as well. I think the first message is that many of you would like to start perhaps a family this year, or maybe thinking of starting the family, your own family. So perhaps finding the right partner, right, and maybe having children. Yeah, so some of you will perhaps start it during the year. Some of you will start to think about it and maybe start a manifestation process. So I would say it's actually a positive sign for you, and it's a yes. So this card called creation with loads of yellow, and yellow is positivity. And I think we've had the Sun card, yes. So maybe that's why we've had the Sun card. I would say the answer for you guys is yes. It's a good time to either start the manifestation process, or start looking for a partner, or even start creating the family if this is what you wish to do, right? One other thing, I would just suggest that remember that we always have this is also like you come from a family of origin, right? So you were born into your ancestry as well. And I'm just trying to feel if this is a positive, and I feel like they'll be probably helping you, and you do have perhaps some support around your family, like the family of your origin. But I would also say that also be conscious of that you want to move away from some toxic patterns from the past, right? That's why you are going, I think, through this process, watching the tarot videos like this, right? Just to make you more aware and move away from some, as I said, from some toxic situations and patterns from the past. So perhaps just a reminder with that. But if you want to start a family or manifestation process to work with manifestation, right, your guides, perhaps spirit guides, to create or co-create a family and have children this year or in the future years, then I feel like this is a yes card. Go ahead, and it will happen for you. All right. Okay. Thank you, Gemini, for watching the video. I hope it was helpful for you. and useful, please do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, or share it with your friends. I'll be very grateful, and it will help me also grow the channel, right? And let others know that there's something valuable here. I'm wishing you all the best for the whole year, and I hope to see you on my future videos. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Hello, beautiful Libra. This will be your portion of the messages for the whole year 2023 for the air signs Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. Sorry, I wanted to say Scorpio. Maybe you want to go back and listen also to Scorpio. There may be some relevant messages for you guys. Yeah, so this is the portion and the specific messages for Libra people, and this will apply if Libra is your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant sign. Also for any placements or wherever Libra falls in your birth chart, if you know your chart, or also if you feel intuitively drawn to this message, and please do listen to the message as it may contain relevant information for you, or relevant guidance. And I've explained a little bit about that in the first let's say bigger portion of this whole video, right? In the first video, which is as I mentioned, which is a general messages for all three air signs all together. And this one is again, as I said, a specific message for Libra. And I think, yeah, I think that's really all I wanted to say. I hope the guidance from the angels was also that you perhaps go back or also start with watching and listening to the general messages for all three air signs, as this will contain relevant information and relevant guidance for you, and then combine it and then watch it your Libra, your specific Libra portion, and it will, like the both messages will help you more, and hopefully, and it will make, let's say, a bigger sense for you as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I've got like three positions, three angel tarot cards for you guys in three positions. I've got actually one more, and I've got also three clarifiers from sorry, from the energy oracle deck for you. I would say usually I start with like a little bit of a general message for the year, or whatever I can see. I think there is an aspect of you are going through I think you are going through a bit of a transformation, or you're going through a transformation process, as we all do. I think for some of you it also may be a transition already, so perhaps after some bigger changes you are still transitioning, but still kind of changing and transforming. And this is actually helping you with releasing some patterns from the past, I feel. Also perhaps some toxic relationships from the past, something there's a relationship with perhaps a man that is highlighted here. It could be, I'm just trying to feel, it could be with a romantic partner, but it could be, for example, with a relationship like a father or father figure, and you're releasing and perhaps coming out of let's say this kind of toxic relationships or toxic patterns, again in perhaps love partnerships, also partnerships from the past, and perhaps even with family members, right? So this is more about like when patterns are repeating in our life, right? Yeah, and so I think it's a process of release, of moving forward as well, and releasing also negative emotions to do with that. Yeah, and probably finding a better balance also within yourself. I think this is yeah, that's what I see, right? And let's just start with the first position. You've got 8 of Fire, and with the Empress card, and this also came actually with a card called Broken Heart. I hope you can see, guys, but the Broken Heart is in reverse here, so it's more about, like, it's more as a card of healing rather than, let's say, the heartache and loss and sorrow, right? But what I wanted to say, let me just start first. I think there have been many, let's say, things happening at once in your life, and I think that's in the past. Let's start, because this position is a little bit like what happened in the past and what you are bringing into the current moment, and perhaps it may still a little bit manifest into the future. This is how it comes. So there may have been sometimes many things happening at once in your life. sometimes which perhaps caused some conflicts or confusion in your life. Also, this means that there may have been, let's say, many things to deal with as well, but also this is kind of like on an ongoing basis, right? That sometimes, but I mean, like too many things, like too many, for example, issues to sort out, right? So sometimes we go through various phases in our lives, but sometimes we end up like every area of our life, for example, is I don't know, like in a day, it's kind of like heavy with some issues, right? And so this is a little bit this card that talks about like trying to sort out a lot of stuff at once in your life, or at least many things happening perhaps almost at the same time or at the same time. And this was the past. I feel like this energy actually may be now living your life in a way that you are and this is also that you're bringing more balance into yourself and into your life, and you perhaps know how to do it now. So perhaps in the past, sorry guys, you weren't maybe aware maybe of your own power, right? Maybe you needed to go through a lot of healing, perhaps work, in order to understand what went wrong or what was going wrong in, let's say, in your relationships in the past. But I feel like now you are much more, let's say, in your power. You're much more balanced yourself, and you know how to do it. So you know how to bring more balance in your life, and also, yeah, and also to yourself, I would say, right? So I feel like this kind of energy is definitely leaving you, and this leaving you. So it was the past, right, position. And this comes also with the Empress. So I would say while obviously there was many things happening, you probably were somehow, so the Empress card is like the, let's say, the main queen, I don't know, in the, let's say, environment, in the house or somewhere. So I feel like you were in an aspect of either a center position somewhere, so perhaps in a business, in a company, in your home, or yeah, like you were in a position of power, or I would say probably more leadership. But I feel like this position, even though this position was perhaps kind of making this happen, right? So these many issues, this many things happening were also part of the fact that you were perhaps in this, let's say, leadership and central position in your life. But this relates to perhaps you were in the central position, I don't know, in your family somehow, or maybe you were a leader, sorry, as and a manager in a company that you worked for, right? And you needed to handle and manage different issues, different people, different things, and so on and so forth. Maybe again many things. So I would say that while this is positive, this also puts you perhaps in the position of like, it's not underpowerment. I don't know why it comes like this. Perhaps in a position where you actually felt underpowered, right? So it's in a little bit paradoxical way. I would also say that, remember, perhaps that paradoxes are part of life. I don't know why this comes randomly, but also that paradoxes are part of life, and perhaps maybe listening to some perhaps YouTubers or spiritual teachers who talk about paradoxes. So while I think you held the center point, or you held the leadership position in a certain way, at the same time you felt underpowered, I would say, by other people, right? Or maybe your power wasn't necessarily appreciated enough or seen enough. And also and this it seems like all of these issues, and sometimes there's too many issues going at once, were also part of this kind of power position and then underpowerment, I would say, right? Or feeling it's not necessarily disempowered, right? You didn't feel, I mean, you probably felt disempowered a bit, but it feels like you were underpowered, let's say, by others. And maybe that's why this card of healing, right? So normally in upright would be, it's like a heartache position of being hurt, let's say, right? Being wounded. But it came in reversal, and I feel like you have gone through a healing process already, right? So in the past, it comes in the past life probably as well. This is how it comes. But I would say in the past years or past few months as well, right? Or the healing is always a process. So for many of you, if not most of you, you know what it means, and you know how you heal perhaps, or how you needed to heal. Yeah, and the healing was helping you perhaps. So I've just suggested that there'll be more balance. And also the healing was helping you to find, like in finding better balance in your life, to bringing more balance to yourself and to your life as well, right? So I would say that's important. It feels like it's important for you to know that this is how it was. Maybe that's a bit of maybe this is like a new perspective on how things were in the past, because sometimes we don't always understand everything, especially if there is too many things going on at once, right? So I feel like this is kind of just like you bring it, this energy is the past energy, but you are being reminded about it, and perhaps you're being shown this for a reason, right? I don't think, again, as I said, I don't think it will continue this year, and you are even at this moment in life where you know you no longer like exist in this kind of places, if that makes sense, right? So I feel like this is definitely the past position, which I feel is actually good news for you, Libras. um, and then in the center, which is let's say just like a central position, is actually Four of Water, and this comes with actually a man holding a heart. I would suggest the Four of Water here, like it's like obviously this figure is like deep in water, right, underwater. I would suggest that there is a deep healing that has been happening or it will continue to happen this year, but maybe not on the same level as it used to be. Yeah, so perhaps things are a little bit lighter already, right? There is more, as I've said, there is more balance in your life, but you will continue. You will still need to do some deep healing, right? Maybe not as much as you used to. Or maybe it's just coming that maybe for some of you you will need to do more than you used to. But anyway, there's an aspect of deeper healing that you have to still go through. The healing comes to do, so this is probably to do with this man holding a heart. So it can be a lover, a romantic partner, a partnership. So with probably with a man, I think it comes as a man holding a heart. So I would say, but it could also be, even though he holds a heart, but I feel like it can also be some aspect of a connection with your boss, for example, of your manager, which kind of maybe went too far a little bit, right? But now I'm coming back to the fact that this is an upright position. And for some, so somehow I've talked about paradoxes. Somehow things are actually going better and getting better. And maybe this is actually someone, so maybe there's the pattern in this relationship with this man, wherever this relationship is, right? Is probably similar to something from the past, but I have a feeling that it will go differently this year, right? You still need to be watchful, perhaps, a little bit careful, do your healing work, right? And the deeper healing work if required or if needed. But this healing will also, perhaps, this will help you take this new relationship, so it does feel like actually it's a bit of a newer relationship, to a new level in your life, right? A new level also, and the new levels of apprehension are also coming to you, right? So I would say that this card does, so the first message was, and also perhaps because you had this one, right, that the healing will continue for you and the healing will continue to be important, but will also help you to come out from, let's say, this position. And the Four of Water position is usually like, in the traditional tarot, like a man is sitting, let's say, underneath the tree, and he has like his hands are crossed like this, so he's kind of protecting himself and his solar plexus. And very often he doesn't, I think it's a man or it doesn't matter, or a female, right? And then he doesn't see, and he's got like 3 cups in front of him, and he's very, like, he feels very dissatisfied, right? And he kind of doesn't kind of want it anymore. And then there's 1 cup that comes to him, let's say from heavens or from someone else, but he doesn't see it. So it's just sorry, it's just a representation. But I wanted to tell you, I think for me, this card does represent of like being in a place where you actually don't know what you want. You may feel disempowered by your own dissatisfaction in life. But yet again, I feel like this is the past, right? You know you were very dissatisfied. You know what happened. You know what actually put you in this. This is also like a lethargic position. So you know what put you in this lethargy where you just kind of didn't want anything or didn't like anything because you just were feeling a little bit strange, maybe discombobulated, right? And now I feel like, okay, and now I feel like it's better. But this position is kind of something that you need to, I think you continue to work with. Also, you need to be perhaps watchful because obviously this is somehow related, actually, this man. But then this is telling me that it can be also a pattern from the past. And it can also be a pattern that actually comes from or stems from your father or your family line, perhaps your father's family line. This is how it comes to me. So again, perhaps that's why, coming back to the fact that this card represents healing and deep healing process, the same with this card that we've started, right? Yeah, so I feel like this is okay. This is very important for you to understand also that the deep healing is also very important to kind of continue also to, let's say, this strange paradoxical position in your life, also the way you feel about it, and also, yes, and also this position, the Four of Water, which you are not always sure, for example, what decisions to make or what is it that you want, perhaps, right? Yeah, and yeah, I feel like this maybe, I think you will be finding solutions to that, right? I don't, yeah. So I think this 8 of 5, so like this many things, this is living your life, this energy that I've described as a past, but this seems like you will be finding through through your healing work, and in general you will be finding new solutions to this, right? And I feel like there's positivity and you're coming out of it as well, right? And I think the last card is actually the release card, which is the death card. And I think sorry guys, I think this I've just been talking a lot today. This confirms that yes, you will be in a process of like going through changes and releasing a lot of stuff, right? Maybe coming to endings with certain things, or coming to conclusions even. And this may yeah, and this also relate to, as I said, like this will be, you will find solutions, and this will be leaving, or you'll be moving away from that, and you'll be coming out of this like really strange positions, when also a position where you, when something maybe is offered to you, but you don't know if this is good or bad, and you don't know if you want it, right? So perhaps I would say that you also need to try it out sometimes before so not before you say yes, but like you do need to say, let's say, yes to it, to try it out before you know what it is really, if you want to, let's say, continue, and let's say with this and fully say yes to it, right? But you need to try it out, I would say. So definitely, let's say, new approach and new solutions are coming. So with this said, I think the release, the death card, I think it has a very actually positive meaning for you, because you'll be able to kind of like, as if to transform your decisions, right? Like to continue to heal, perhaps to continue with healing, but at the same time, I don't know, you'll be able to, like, I don't know, maybe like have this sudden transformation, or the sudden moment of aha, or like an awakening moment, right? Or like an aha moment, oh wow, maybe this is actually how this should be. Or maybe I should, as I said, maybe I should go ahead actually and say yes to that person, and maybe at least try it out with him. So like, for example, like romantic partner, maybe he will invite you for a date or something like this, and maybe you should say, well, maybe I should try it, right? Maybe I should give him a chance before I start to judge this, right? Or before I start to judge my patterns, even though I would say that there will be some patterns coming back up. But I feel like you are working with it totally differently. And this card is a confirmation. It's a major arcana card that you'll be able kind of to almost, I think, transform it, but also turn it over, right? But like in a positive way, right? In a subtle way. You'll be able to kind of turn it over and just perhaps make something positive out of it as well, and release perhaps a lot of blockages and a lot of this, let's say, bad, like a lot of bad habits, and this kind of, I would say, maybe this negative patterns from the past, right? And this comes actually with the balance card, and with the angel of balance. And I think I've already said something that you know. So this card is actually helping you to bring much more balance into your life and into yourself, and I feel like also into your position in life or in certain situations, right? So I've spoken a lot about this Empress, where your position was a little bit strange and underpowered, right? So I feel like there's much more balance coming about to it through the energy that is available. But I think that you with your awareness, you'll be able to also bring the balance and understand how you can position yourself better in life, yeah, and feel better, right? And feel that there's perhaps more balance and fairness as well. All right. Okay, so this is these are your like main messages, and I'm going just to take two different oracle cards, Libra, for you. Okay, just to draw, this is quite a big deck, just to draw kind of few more cards for you, just to show you for Libra, please. Okay, you are worth it. So let me just, I think this is the first card. Apologies, because I think the sun is coming down, so I'm losing a little bit of light, but I will just finish the video because it's just kind of couple of minutes right away. You are worth it. These cards are actually really beautiful, by the way. I actually see straight away, I think this is like the hibiscus. It looks to me like a hibiscus flower, but it has a different, it has a bit like a white, yellow, and a little bit of red inside of it. Hibiscus, but to be honest, to me, usually like the pink hibiscus or the red one represents love, for example, and also unconditional love, I'm hearing. But you are worth it. I think it's important for you to hear it, and you are worth it. I think it's something that is coming stronger in your life. So the self-worth, you probably have been working a lot on your self-worth and understanding where you, let's say, where this was, let's say, worth it in your life, where this was, where this was kind of disempowered, right? So when the worth was not there, let's say, but understanding also where you were, let's say, yeah, where you felt, let's say, maybe not worthless, but you felt that, right? We all have to work on our self-worth, right? So wherever you felt, let's say, not worthy enough and things like that. So yeah, and I feel like that's a very strong confirmation and a message. You are worth it, Libra. You are worth it. So even if it's like the man who's coming to your life, right? Okay, they said this wasn't the card for you. The man, a romantic partner, you are worth it. And you are worth, let's say, the man who's really like the best in the world, I would say. Of course, everyone has its ups and downs and everyone has shadows, but you can meet someone who is very compatible with you, right? And even your shadow, you both light and the dark will be compatible. And you can both have, if he has the right understanding, you both have a wonderful relationship together, right? And he can be wonderful to you and you can be wonderful to him, right? So yeah, so I would say you are worth it and you are worth, let's say, the best of it, right? Really trust it and you need to believe it, like believe it really, and it will happen, or you will start to bring this over to your life, which I think it's a positive, let's say, PowerPoint, right? With you, if that makes sense. Then you've got this says trust. Oh, trust your own understanding. This is another beautiful card. There's a lot of blue here, and blue is like the color of knowledge, insight, and wisdom. I feel, and I hear. So yeah, trust your own understanding. I feel like this is like the message on its own. Trust your own, yeah, knowledge. Trust that you have enough knowledge already. Of course, I feel like you guys are aware of this, that we continue to, you will build your knowledge, you will continue to read the books or listen to your mentors, right, or teachers. But it's like also quite a strong, the message is just trust your own understanding, right? And then you can flow through this, and then follow it perhaps in your own patterns and decision making, right? So also trust your own understanding about yourself, because you are the one who has perhaps the best understanding about who you truly are and who you have gone who and sorry and what you have gone through in life, right? So for example, like your mother or your friend wouldn't necessarily know this very they wouldn't know it the best, at least, right? You know it the best. So trust yourself, please. And let me take, I've lost one card, but I've lost one card, but the angels said that I don't need to take it because it wasn't for you. So let's take one. Okay, I will have two cards for my Libras. Oh, that's beautiful, actually. Okay, I think they come together, but let me just explain. So you've got currents of emotions, but this is about, yeah, this is uncontrolled feelings and emotions. I would say, I think this is a little bit of a over another message, right? Just a general message. So as I said, this is like a rough waters. Here's a storm. I think this is about currents of emotions inside of you, or at times there may be something, right? Like we had the broken heart, the wounded kind of healer heart again. So you probably know already, you've experienced this in the past, but I wanted to suggest that if you experience these currents of emotions, especially, let's say, the darker emotions, the negative emotions, sometimes anger, sometimes sadness, or sometimes feeling discombobulated, I would actually suggest, because this cards with the chakra, so this says angel, I hope you can see it, angel of the, oh, you can see it, angel of the 7 chakras, and it says power, truth, and connection, right? So I wanted to say that actually with these, when you experience these turbulent emotions, let's say, please work with, or please work with your chakras, or work with energy balancing techniques, right? That's the message for you. And that's why this is the card is angels of the 7 chakras. Also, the angels are saying that please like another message is connect with the angels as much as you can. Maybe start connecting with the angels if you haven't been doing this in the past. Again, read, of course, learn. There are other people like YouTubers who do wonderful videos, or find people perhaps on social media, but you will know it anyway. But so learn it, connect with the angels, and let them guide you as well through life. For example, Archangel Michael is already here telling me that, yeah, he definitely would like to work with all of you guys. So just don't feel shy, please. And he's inviting you with open arms, right, and open heart as well. So he's telling you that the angels always invite everyone, and you can, and anyone can connect with them, right? So they are also non-denominational. Yeah. And then and that's the other message was with work with your emotions, but use energy healing and energy clearing work, and also chakra balancing work. Yeah, for that. And this seems like it will be very beneficial for you, right? So to work with any types of like kind of recurring emotions or negative emotions, right, or turbulence inside of you. All right, my dear Libras. All right, thank you very much. This is all I have for you. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope it was helpful for you, and please do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, or share it with your friends. It will help. I'll be very grateful, because it will also help me grow this channel, right, and show others that there's something valuable in here. And I'm wishing you all the best for the whole year, and I also hope to see you on my future videos. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Hello, beautiful Aquarius. This will be your portion of the bigger of the whole reading for the year 2023, and your portion of also of the reading that was done as a first part of this video for all air signs. Yeah, and it is specific for Aquarius people, and it will apply to you if Aquarius is your sun sign, your moon sign, your ascendant sign, or also if you know where, for example, Aquarius is in your chart. So any placements that you have Aquarius in your chart, in your birth chart and sorry, and also if you are intuitively drawn to this video for some reason, or you don't know your birth chart, you don't need to know the whole birth chart, then please listen to it, because maybe it will have like important messages for you. All right, and I think yeah, and as I usually say, hopefully you would have listened the first portion of this video, which is which has general messages for all three air signs, and yeah, and hopefully some messages were for you as well, and probably these messages will also somehow connect back to these messages in the main video. All right, so let's go ahead. Yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I've got three positions for like three tarot cards, three angel tarot cards, even though I have a few more cards for you, but just the major positions as they came out for you a little bit more. And we've also have like three clarifier cards from Energy Oracle deck for you as well. As a let's say starting point, as a main message is that you've got in the center, you also have two nines, and I've mentioned that, for example, in the main general video. And you've got 9 of earth and 9 of air. And I would say, because you also have, where did I actually see it? There is, yeah, so there is, I think I felt already this message actually when I put down the cards, that there is an aspect, there is some ending coming to your life with the 9. I would say that the ending may not be perhaps the most, I would say it may not be the most positive ending that you would have wished for. But it will be for the highest good, right? And it will be the way, it will be also for the highest good of all. And also I just wanted, because I want to give you the message so that it also relates like to you, and let's say gives you the best guidance. So I would just perhaps tell you also that remember to remain grounded with anything that happens that isn't perhaps as positive, or is just something that you didn't perhaps expect maybe to go this way. Remember to remain grounded. Remember to remain centered, and also there is an aspect of earth. You know, so like earth is like is the element earth, right? It's kind of coming. So remember that you are supported, let's say, by the Mother Earth, right? That you are supported in this physical life as well. So I would say this, the one message is a bit bigger, that you are supported by the Mother Earth, right? So no matter what happens, you will always be, let's say, protected and provided for, right? And this is also by the highest source, so both aspects. But I feel also that, remember that there are I feel that to tell you to remember that there are always solutions that will come out of, let's say, the situation. So there are always solutions, let's say, for your physical life that will be available to you, right? And maybe you don't see them at the moment right now, but they'll definitely come out in the, let's say, in the right time, and whenever you need them, right? And I think this does relate to some aspect of endings, or this ending that is coming to your life, right? And also this came, so okay, let me just say a little bit, because this also came with the World card, but the World, this is like the Energy Oracle, so it's slightly, I would say it's a little bit different meaning to the tarot, because there is a world card in tarot. And I wanted to say that the ending opens you up to like a new, not new opposition, new it opens you up to what, to a new, okay, it says it opens you up to a new position in life, right? It also came as new opposition, so perhaps there will be some understanding of coming to you of what is, we all have opposition in our life, right? And perhaps what opposition means, and how you can, let's say, work with that, right? And it could be opposition, for example, from other people, so in different ways. And also it opens something, it opens you up to something new in your life, right? But I feel like you will need to work with that a little bit. So there'll be some aspect of transformation perhaps. And it may not be the easiest, but as I said, this is how it came. It is, remember that it is for the highest good. It is perhaps part of your lessons in this lifetime as well. And continue to have, I would say, continue to have faith that it will come out for the best for you, at least, right? Like the more you go through it and the more you find, let's say, better solutions. Maybe this is a bit of a lesson also to find better solutions in life for yourself, maybe to separate from some people, and you'll be, yeah, I feel like you'll be successful. You'll be able to come out of that on the other side, I would say. All right. So let's start. Let's start from the first card, which is a little bit like to the past, and this comes. This is ego, which is basically which is actually the devil card in the traditional deck, and it comes with the two clarifier card. One is appreciation. Sorry, guys, attachment and appreciation. And I wanted to say here, so the ego is all about, let's say, unhealthy habits, toxic habits, addictions, codependency, a bit of obsessions as well, but the obsession doesn't come very strongly. I would say addictions, codependency, and toxic habits in your life. It can also be that it can also be, for example, emotional habits. So, for example, that you may have been. That's why we've got the the attachment card, right? Which is also an aspect of the devil. Maybe you were somehow addicted, or maybe you just grew up this way, that maybe you were receiving appreciation or I would say gratification in a certain way, and perhaps from your parents as well. So this is how they brought you up in a certain way, and maybe you've gotten used to it, right? Maybe you've gotten used to that. And I don't think this is not about that you would have, I don't know, received maybe too much of, I don't know, gratification from someone, right? Or like a reward. It just comes that you were used to receiving, let's say, this appreciation and this reward in a certain way. And I would suggest that this created, like, it wouldn't have been, like, it would have been toxic also, and it would have created an aspect of a bad habit, and also some aspect of emotional, emotional attachment or emotional attachment inside of you, right? And maybe that's why the devil. So this is just a heads up, and I feel like the ending. So I've spoken, the ending that is coming to your life, right, will probably it will release you. This is how it will release you, perhaps at least partially, from these kind of unhealthy addictions, right, or unhealthy habits, for example, around how you receive appreciation, or how you are appreciated by other people, or perhaps even rewarded by other people, right, or even organizations, right? So it will just help you. I would say the ending is going to help you to release you from this, but I would say that there's always an aspect of inner work required, right? So it doesn't, well, you do have King of Water. Yeah, I think you do have an indication, sorry, there, that you will, and I will talk in a moment about it, that you will need to, once you are become aware of this, and perhaps for some of you, you have already started this doing, let's say, your inner work and your healing work to understand yourself better, and then release it, let's say, more and more, and transform it into a better, let's say, habitual self or sense of self. Yep. All right, then we've got, then this is your center position, and the center position comes with two nines. This 9 of earth and 9 of air. So, and this actually came with a world card, so I've already spoken a little bit about that, right? So the nines, as I said, they do represent, but I think one message was that there is some, and so this kind of ending, or some aspect of an ending coming to your life, right? It will be different for different people. I think I do want to speak a little bit about, first of all, the 9 of earth. This is also, the card that came up for, like, in a general message for all air signs. And this does talk about, for example, an aspect of self-sufficiency. Again, remember that you will be coming out of an aspect of codependency with others, right? And some bad habits, again, with regards to perhaps appreciation, right? So I think this will be teaching you so as I said, how to come out from the codependency, and how to live your life in a healthier way, or in much more healthy way, and in a much more, let's say, healthy basis, in terms of, like, let's say, of your principles, right, of your principles related, for example, to your values and value system. It may then let's say, pertain, or not project itself, but it may pertain also, or this may somehow, be correlated with an aspect of finances. Actually, this is how it comes in your life as well, right? So perhaps the appreciation was also coming through as part of you being rewarded, I don't know, with money, let's say, or with some aspect of finances, like some monetary rewards, or maybe some gifts in a certain way. but I feel like it no longer serves you, right? And it's again, so it's kind of coming a little bit around and learning about yourself, and this is about you. I think again, it's being self-sufficient, but understanding that maybe certain things aren't needed anymore. Maybe all these, I don't know, presents that you used to get for Christmas, right? Maybe because I don't really like. I mean, I understand that presents are important, but not like the Western culture is, let's say, full of it, and I think that it's overstated and overwhelming even. So maybe just something will come to you. I think it will be fairly natural, sorry, and it will come maybe also through your healing work, right, or your practice, that you will start to notice that maybe this is not necessary and it was just empty, right, that people were rewarding you either with an empty, so in an empty way, or they maybe wanted something actually, maybe they wanted something back. And very often people want something back, even if they give you a gift. Very often the underlying let's say pattern can be that they expect that you will give it back to them, right, or you give something back to them. But that's then but this is not, for example, living as a selfless service kind of person, right? So selflessness, perhaps if you are growing spiritually, understanding how to be selfless is also important. And I think that this probably is part of, I don't know, maybe the understanding that is coming to your life. And this came also with, but this came with Nine of Air, and Nine of Air is actually the card of, let's say, of worry, stress, a bit of like anxiety, also sleepless nights. So again, like you working with this ending, you working with the transformation, maybe releasing the attachments, right? And working perhaps both ways, like both in the, so trying to find both in the physical world, so trying to find solutions for yourself and for others, but also perhaps with your own healing. Yeah, so you will, so perhaps, so this is under, so this is perhaps a little bit underneath, like all your emotions, and this, that there is a bit of a stress coming up, that there may some, maybe some sleepless nights and things like that. But I would also suggest, and I think I'm going to talk in a moment about the third position, that I want to suggest that with this Nine of Air, you can work with that, right? So you can try to, and you probably will be requested. Then this card is telling me that you will be somehow prompted or will continue to with your healing work, for example, and releasing, yeah, yeah, you're releasing emotions and understanding perhaps how you can bring yourself to balance, right, and release the negativities or the worries from within of you. And I think the World card, I feel like I've already spoken about it. Whatever is coming to your life, it was like you're stepping forward, kind of, I would say, to the new aspect in the world, I would say, but something is opening up, like like a door, right? A door to a situation or something. And this situation, let's say, is going to teach you, but in this way, I feel it's, sorry, very positive, right? That it will, something will open up, like a door will open up, maybe more than one door, to either a new relationship, a new person, a new therapist, and then they will help you, or they will teach you actually how to handle all of it, right? And whatever I've just spoken about. So how to handle, for example, the sleepless nights and the anxiety, and how to work with yourself and those unhealthy attachments in your life. All right. And then we've got Two of Earth with the King of Water. And these two cards actually came also when I will speak about it, with actually Door to Romance. Okay, we've got Door to Romance and Angel of Love. Okay, one thing that comes in straight away, guys, that for some of you, maybe not to all of you, there'll be a new, I think there's a new relationship on the table. Door to Romance, a romantic partner will enter your life at some stage. I would say that this feels like it's for some of you, probably not for all of you, so just take it as it comes. Yeah, it's a new romantic partner. It's a love relationship. Yeah, and I'm not sure. I think it will be, obviously, because we've got the Angel of Love here. I don't know what is the message around it, right? But there will be a new romantic partner coming into your life, and it feels like it's a little bit perhaps later, or starting from spring and further down, let's say, the line. But I feel like this would be the King of Water, right? This new man, let's say, or this person, romantic partner, and they will help you to balance something, or they will help you with finding balance and grounding in your life as well. So actually, maybe it is a positive. I wasn't sure if this is like a fully positive relationship, but I think it will start in a positive way, and you probably will. And I feel like actually it's kind of like ongoing. So you probably will have a connection with this person, and it feels like it's an ongoing relationship, right? I don't think that it will always, I wouldn't say that it will be all perfect and all roses. And I wouldn't even say that this will be a relationship that you will decide to be, let's say, on a, like let's say exclusive relationship only as a romantic partner with them, right? It's probably a male, but it could be, in this case, you see, it could be, if it's a man watching, it could be in an aspect of a female romantic partner, right? Or the way you want to take it. It's more about romantic partner. But I think for most of you, I feel like, I don't think, it is an ongoing relationship, and they will be helping you to balance yourself perhaps. So maybe they'll have some positive approach to something and advice, but I don't think that you will, let's say, decide to really stay with them and be together as a, let's say, as a relation, as a, like a proper, let's say, love romantic relationship, right? At least not this year, and this is not how it feels. But on the other hand, I think it's important to mention it, because it will be a relationship, and it will be definitely helping you balance various things in your life, balance perhaps your finances, finding grounding, finding your center. Perhaps he will maybe bringing you some new solutions, also to help with, again, the finances. And this is actually all about material aspects as well, and perhaps some practicalities in your life, I would say. And in this way, I would say that this will be positive, but there is an aspect of a romantic partner here, right? So there may be probably a little bit more to learn with him as well, or her, if this is how it is, right? And here, yeah, so perhaps because I've been already reading it, so this is just confirming that door to romance, that romance is also imminent, or is possible during the year. Now, I would say that for some of you, if you don't perhaps accept this person as a let's say, like this exclusive, anyway, just as a partner that you want to stay with, just, you know, as one-on-one, right? Then it's probably more that I feel like there will be more possibilities to meet people, right? Maybe for dating, but also to meet people who may be interested in you, and you may be interested in them, to kind of perhaps to create a relationship. So I would say that there's an open door to that, right? And there'll be something, not only with this person, but there'll be maybe one or two more people, perhaps. There's something happening to help you with that. And again, and I think that's why we also have the angel of love, right? So remember that you also want to be in relationships based on love and a mutual respect. This is how it comes. And the love and the mutual respect will be very important, or it will be important for you, and perhaps it will be also important for, it will be like, oh, it will be the basis on how you make your decisions in life, and your decisions, for example, in these relationships. So you may meet some people or some potential partners who you may discover that they're not suitable for you, right? And this is fine. I would say this is just part of part of fun. I mean, it's just part of the lessons, right? Sometimes it's part of the learning. Yeah, and they did say part of fun as well. Yeah, so maybe just, I would say, take it lightly as well. All right. Okay, I think these are the main messages, and let me just take a couple of different oracle cards now for you guys, just to give you some kind of extra messages for you. Okay, so we will have goddess guidance, and we will have this one. So I've got, so that's this is divine. Yeah, I thought it was called goddess guidance, but I call it a goddess guidance. So this is a divine feminine oracle card. Let me just ask for Aquarius. Yeah, Mother Kali. Let me just, yeah, and this is actually your angel. And this is angel guide for Aquarius, please. Self-acceptance. That's actually, you have actually quite nice cards. It's interesting because you will have a bit of difficulty, I think. I mean, please take it in a positive way, right? Because you will be releasing some attachments, as I've mentioned, and some in relationships and some codependencies. But I feel like there's a lot of positivity, and you're learning perhaps also about love in general, unconditional love, right? How you love people. This also can come with, let's say, respect, self-respect first, and also respect from others. So I feel like there's kind of a lot of also positive learning in relationships, right? So it will not, yeah, it will be perhaps more balanced. It won't like just go bad and that's it, right? Remember that it will rebalance itself for the better. This is this card from the god, I call it from sorry, divine feminine oracle deck. I call it goddess guidance, and that's Kali. Kali, this says the mother of the universe, but I'll tell you it's a goddess Kali. Actually, I know it because it's from her as well. I know it, let's say, myself. She's basically, she comes to this as she's an Indian goddess, and she's associated very often with God Shiva as well, and they are a lot about death and transformation, but also about destruction, and then, let's say, creation of the new. But it's more about the destructive part of it, and I feel like Kali is coming to help you. Also, you've had this, we talked about the codependencies and attachments and addictions. So she can help you, let's say, okay, I feel like she can help you draw the line, and she basically can help you cut the cords for yourself first, either from toxic people and release them, right, or from also from these toxic attachments. Yeah, so I think she will be there, but she will then, she says that she's happy, so you can also connect with her, and she will be happy also to assist you. So this is what she tells me, with not only, let's say, cutting cords from like toxic people and some toxic attachments, but also she can help you with your healing process. She's not like the healer, the mother healer perhaps, but she can definitely guide you through your healing process and help you sorry, with anything. She's a goddess, so the goddess energy is the light energy, right, the 100% light, and that's why she can perhaps guide you a little bit and maybe prompt you to in the right direction. And I think I'll leave it with you because this is the message. And now those two cards with from the angel sorry, guide oracle cards. One is self-acceptance, and I think self-acceptance, we've talked a lot about just knowing that. Also self-love, I think it's very important here, and self-acceptance, right? So something that maybe will be a bit tested in your life, but the more you focus on it, the more you come out from, let's say, from love as a basis for your life, and self-acceptance as well. So it's perhaps just appreciating yourself more for who you are, will definitely help you. So self-acceptance, I feel, is probably self-explanatory. And then you've got this card which actually talks about harmony and resolution. um I would say that that's a process in your life. I feel now like that there has been a lot of conflict in your life, and perhaps discongruence and things like that with people especially. So I feel like this card is a bit like a promise a little bit, right, and something that you need to work towards. But that maybe when you focusing on harmony and knowing that harmony and resolution can come to your life, and a little bit working with that will help you bring it on and bring perhaps more harmony to your life and to your relationships. So yeah, so just a positive message that it is possible, and you will have the signs, and you will have perhaps some first manifestations that your even maybe the old relationships that you needed to transform away from will become more harmonious, yeah, and maybe more balanced as well, right? And then some resolutions are going to come as well. Yeah, and maybe this is also part of the endings, but I would say that this is in a positive, it's a positive sign and in a positive way. All right. Okay, thank you, dear Aquarius, for watching the video. I hope it was helpful for you. So please hit the like button or subscribe to my channel, or share it with your friends. It will also help me grow the channel, and I'll be very grateful for this. I really do hope that you enjoyed the video, and I wish you all the best for the whole year. And I also hope to see you soon on my future videos. Take care of yourselves. Bye.